you what you get. It's wild, it's twisted. Headlines hitting like a slap and you missed it. It's madness, I'm tapped out, live on the scene and I can't find my way out.
And welcome back to another episode of the Convoluted Podcast. It's your host, Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, and I'm here with Liz.
Hey.
And don't forget, you guys, we are the 7th best weird news story podcast in the world. We are rising up. We are rising up from the 8th. So, but before that, Liz, how have you been this week?
I mean, granted, Sunday we just got off our Hood River amazing weekend. It was beautiful, right? We had a great time.
Yep.
Beautiful scenery.
We went on vacation, a mini vacation, but vacation nonetheless. So it's a much needed one after last week. So
oh god, yes.
So yeah, definitely a chaotic one. And it has not stopped for me. My week has still been as chaotic. My car is still in the fritz, sadly. But we can talk a little about the positive side. We did have a fun vacation. We went on to a cider festival, which was nice. Enjoyed some outings. Went on some quote easy trails that Liz picked up.
My bad. One of them. Only one was bad. The other one was pretty good. That was solid easy. That was a solid easy.
They're all nice trails. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable weekend. It was fun, friends, food. You can't weather
was amazing, spot on.
That you can't ask for more of that type of. That's like a perfect weekend. Minus a little bit of a tummy ache here or there, but you know.
You had a tummy ache?
A little bit. On the way there, my stomach was acting up on the way there, but not too bad. I was doing overall fun. You know, can't ask much more than that. You know, for trying to. Remember, everyone, vacations, it's one of the things we tell everyone in this day and age, it's what you're looking forward to that matters these days. Like, we're all busy people. Try to plan small gatherings for friends or family. If it's just a movie night or a family dinner or a friend's dinner, just something, those small little things. And maybe you want to make it a big weekend, like 2 nights somewhere, you know. Plan those things, even if it's weeks in advance. The important thing is to take care of yourself, and you're even, especially during these times, you guys got to do it because you'll just burn yourself out. Like you just got to make the most of it. So
absolutely.
Anything else, Liz, you want to add?
No, but definitely hit that like and subscribe wherever you listen or watch on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else. And don't forget to tell a friend. I'm a little bit of this little chaos of a little show we have.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna be jumping in a few stories. It's a bit chaotic, and a bit quote sickening, but we're not gonna be talking about those. That already scares us enough, and Liz already works in the medical field enough to probably hearing stuff about that. Maybe if
no, we haven't touched it yet, but maybe I haven't been really part of the conversation either.
Okay,
so
that's good. It's not around us. That's all I'm happy about. Yes. But you know,
only measles. It's fine. Measles, so it's fine.
So if things develop, maybe if some weird stories come up with more development, maybe we'll talk about it. But for now, we'll keep that in the zeitgeist, and we'll talk about other weird stuff and a little bit less serious, hopefully. But there are some stuff that we're going to be talking about that get wild. The first one we're going to be talking about, apparently, California farmers must destroy 420,000 peach trees after Monte closes its canneries and cancels more than 550 millions in long-term contracts. That is not chump change, everyone. That is not chump change.
No, not at all.
And that's how big are orchards roughly?
Orchards can be huge, and then 420,000 trees, that we're looking at several acres.
Let's see. How many acre.
It depends on kind of tree, how far you have to space them out.
How many trees were there?
420,000. Peach trees get pretty big. If you keep them trimmed, they might grow well. Oh, I don't even
427
remember from when I was a kid.
trees. Trees.
Spell it out.
3,000 acres, roughly. Minimum.
Damn.
So 3,000 acres gone. So what happened? Let's find out. So to make ends meet, these farmers are now weighing whether to destroy about, oh, there it is, literally right there in the article. 3,000 acres or about 420,000 clingstone peach trees.
Stone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I need to make my screen a little bigger. Apologies, everyone. Following the closure of Del Monte food canneries earlier this year, with the shuttering of Modesto Del Monte plant, which processed between 30 to 35% of the state's clean peaches, the peach farmers are now left with a glut of fruit and no one to sell it. Now, farmers are left with little choice but to uproot the trees and pivot into different crops to recoup the losses. Ooh, that's a big endeavor. I'm not gonna lie. So
And it takes a couple years for those trees to grow and actually produce fruit. So it's
Yeah.
not like anything.
That's yeah. So as a result, the U.S. Department of Agriculture approved a $9 million in federal aid to help farmers remove the trees to transition to a more valuable crop, according to recent press releases from California Senator Adam Schiff.
I think it's Chef, yeah.
Yeah, Schiff. The funds come after more than 40 California lawmakers wrote to Agriculture Secretary Brooks Rowland, Secretary, thank you, in March requesting financial aid for the farmers, arguing the USDA intervention was necessary to stabilize the well-being of the multi-generational food growers in the region. Schiff, citing the USDA analysis, noted that removing 50,000 tons of peaches from the production could save farmers about $3 million in projected losses that would have otherwise gone to waste with the shuttering of the farmer's biggest buyer. This funding offers a glimmer of hope after a devastating period, ensuring California farmers can transition to a new crop and stay on their land. California's Farm Bureau President Shun said in a statement. So they're in a bit of hot water. You know, that sucks. Because like you said, it's it is like that is also a lot of food that has to be figured out. They're probably working on something, but yeah, that's a lot of product that's just not gonna move, and it has to be put away. It's like it will go bad. Will go quote spoiled, right? Like this is not that. It's not one of those types of food where it can just be preserved. Yeah, well, Pete, you can preserve peaches, but quote the cannery business is gone. So what are they to do?
Nobody's buying up those 420,000 trees, you know.
So what is the company to do? Do you want to continue reading?
Yeah, I'll check them. Del Monte, the nearly 140-year-old food producer and distributor based in California, filed for bankruptcy in July of 2025 and closed its canneries in Modesto and Houston last month. The company has struggled to adapt to changing customer preferences, which is steered away from canned fruits and vegetables in favor of fresh produce. The company's troubles intensified as our costs mounted, in part due to tariffs on imported steel that was used in the cans. Oh, that makes sense. According to Del Monte's bankruptcy court filings, the state's peach farmers had some rather long-term contracts to supply fruit to the company due in part of the 20-year lifespans of these specific peach trees, which takes years to cultivate. Collectively, these lost contracts are worth more than $550 million.
Sheesh.
I know, right? Yes, farmers are already weathering a host of challenges. Tariffs have raised input costs and put priced some American growers out of the global market. The Iran war has further complicated the picture of the farmers. Closure of the Strait of Hormuz, I can't always pronounce it, has cut off one third of the global fertilizer shipments and hiked prices of key growing chemicals, forcing some to reconsider which crops they grow. Water overuse and a persistent drought, exacerbated by climate change, has further reduced crop yields.
So that sucks. It's not just, they're not just fighting a one-sided battle, right? They're like, I get it from Del Monte's point. You know, they are fighting a cost, but because of those costs, now the farmers are taking the hit, and
From all directions.
a half a billion dollar hit. That is not a, yeah, it's this is one of those things where we knew this was gonna happen. You know, it's the thing, it's gonna just balloon up. Domino
It's a
effect.
domino effect.
There
More
it
of a
is.
domino effect.
That's what I was thinking.
Armani Kyle's bankruptcy, they clean their hands of this situation, but then it leaves it to the farmers who who have to deal with all of it. Not just a little bit, all of it.
Exactly. And then how are you going to help them? The government has to help them, and then there's subsidy. There's so much. It's always, it's one thing to another thing to another thing. It's like there's no one way fix, sadly. They are just, they're doing their best. But now it's just now the production of peaches will be lessened in the coming years. Because now there's less, because like the article said, right? It takes years for peach trees to be cultivated, right? So now we're losing 3,000 acres of those potential production for your quote valuable crops, right? What are going to be valuable crops? More than likely, probably like what, wheat or oil, things to make oils for different preservatives and stuff like that. That's the only thing I could think of when thinking of what are valuable, and is that going to be really helpful for the people, right? Well, that's another topic for another day, but it sucks. At least there is some level of fix, but it's just now more work. Mostly if these families were like peach growers, right? Now they have to, like, your family aren't that no more. It is ridiculous how one family's livelihood can be taken down by a big corporo. What are your thoughts?
It is absolutely it's sad. There's a lot of food going to waste, and we're always talking about feeding people, and here it is, and farmers are gonna get caught by it. So yeah.
And the other thing you have to think about is, like, so this is just part of a bigger question, because the issue that Del Monte had was their costs of their production, right? The metals and stuff like that. How's that going to affect every other company that has to deal with this same stuff, right? Are we going to just lose out on other stuff, or just things that's going to cost more? Because we've been seeing it. Things are slowly going up in price. For those who don't really notice, the few pennies here, the 10 cents there, just because like, oh, it's all roughly the same, but that adds up. That, because by the time it's like, wait, was it always $3.99 for a jar of mayo? Wait, was it really $4.99 for a jar of mayo last year? You just don't notice those little hikes, like, or
Yeah, and that's where you start to learn how to budget and figure out how to find the best prices for stuff. I mean, we've been doing it for years in my household because we grew up in a big family. So
you're ready for all this, but not a lot of people are. Well, people are learning now the way how things are, right? So, all right. Any final thoughts on the peach scandal here? Not really a scandal, but
no, just sad. It's really sad. They only last 20 years, and I would hate for those trees to go to waste, but now they are going bye-bye.
No, all right, you got
I
you
love
got
peaches.
you
I don't
know.
know about you, but I don't like clingstone. I like freestone. So
Okay, then yeah, she's happy. The clingstones are gone.
I
All
didn't
right.
say that.
All right, let's move on to a topic I think you might know a little bit more about, or might be interested in. I posted it in the chat.
Yeah, I saw. Michigan pharmacy technician pleads guilty in $5.6 million healthcare fraud scheme.
Ooh, did they steal 5.6 million? Liz, why didn't you give me part of it?
A former pharmacy technician working in Metro Detroit pleaded guilty to federal charges related to a $5.6 million scheme to defraud healthcare insurance companies.
Tell them we're good. Yeah, we don't need it. You're fine. Continue. Sorry, everyone. Salesman at the door.
They dragged him all the way to the backyard for you.
Yeah, they're. So for anyone wondering, so this side tangent time. Been a while for tangents. We've been pretty tangent time, everyone. Now, it's one of those things where we're not really, you know, those people who put no soliciting signs around. You know, we don't like we always think about putting one, but like we're not. We're fine. We're not. They're not that often in our neighborhood, but we are a neighborhood that has a lot of repairs happening. So there's always people. There's always people repairing roofs or siding or pest control or doing something, right? Or like, you know, they're doing kids fair stuff and things like that. And so that's when you get these people going around like, oh yeah, we're doing your neighbor from 2 blocks down, and you know, we're thinking like, you know, are you? And then they look around your house like, maybe you need some new windows, and we're like, nah, we're good. I'm like, well, no, like, you know, it's only gonna take like 10 minutes, right? And you know what? I know it's their job. I'm not gonna fault them for that. But at this point in my day, like I only have so much time in my day. And like, yeah, sometimes I'm just watching a random YouTube video, but it's still my time, right? I'll tell them,
right?
I'll tell them,
Self time, man. It's you time.
you know, and sometimes I do give them the day of time. You know, I'm not gonna be that aggressive, but I'm like, all right. And sometimes I literally straight up like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're a solar panel guy this time, okay? You want you want to like, we can take a, you want a picture of that? Like no, dude, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm good with whatever I have. You can go to the next place. I appreciate what you do. See you later. Do you want a water? I offer them a water. Like, it's hot out here. Like, yeah, good. All right, have a good one. Make it simple, clean, and you know, be polite. And it's one of the things, like, it's fine. It's one of the things where I like this what we just got interrupted with was they came. We talked a little bit. I looked into them. You know, it's fair. It doesn't hurt to compare what services you have to one that might be better a little bit. It would have been a little bit cheaper for roughly about, give or take, the same amount of service. But the service we have, like, we're pretty content with what they do. The crew that come with that come around, we at this point we know all 3 of them that rotate through. We don't always get the same one, but we know the 3 who show up, and they're friendly enough. They are very attentive. They do their best. And I'm like, okay, you know, we greet them, same thing. Like, and we're fine with them. So I'm like, and then we always do what we do in our family. I don't know how you guys do kind of quote services for your family, but what we do is, if we're ever going to do something, we do a family meeting, because it's a cost for the house, right? It's going to cost money. So we always have to, like, because these salesmen are like, oh, we can do it today. I'm like, no, it's a family decision. Like, we can come back this afternoon. Like, that's when those red flags start to kick in, right? And when they were, and then there's one guy, he was offering like even a discount for like a year. I'm like, that's a big red flag. Like, it sounds nice, right? It sounds nice. Well, I'm like, I don't know. So we had a family discussion, talked about it. I'm like, nah. Like we're like at this, we might be paying like a few dollars more, but like for the current service, we're not. It's not like they're doing a horrible job. They're doing a pretty standard job. Like I don't know how you guys handle services for your place, and you.
Whoever wants to pay for it. And then I also think it who's taking over it, who's paying for it, and then if it's something that's huge and costly, like my car, it's a split.
Yeah, same. So it's one of the things where it's like you gotta weigh the pros and cons, right? So and the pros outweighed the cons of what this situation was. Like we looked into them. They're not a bad company, but I'm like they're like they're nothing more than what we currently have, to the point where I'm like willing to try to cancel what we have to just get another similar service for probably just a slight upgrade for potential less. It might sound like you're getting something better for less potentially, but like they did say for a year. Like that's how they catch you. Like remember the old days for cable? It's like you get the cable for $5.99 for a year, and then you have to pay like $150 afterwards. That's where people get you. That's where people get you. So that's my tangent, everyone. But it's important. It's important. You know, don't get pushed around. Like it's not, you know, it's respectable to give them some day of time, but if you're like you don't have it, just tell them you're good. Like and send them away to the best of your ability. Look, you don't deal with solicitors, right? Luckily, in your area.
No, our area, our complex does not have it, so
that's one.
We can't have any solicitors. It literally at the entrances of both of them saying, "Hey, no."
Perfect. Lucky.
Can't solicit.
Okay, let's continue with Liz's $5.6 million that you want to share with me.
Ali Nasruddin, 32 of Dearborn Heights, entered the plea deal on Thursday of one charge of each conspiracy to commit health care fraud and possession with intent to illegally distribute oxycodone. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for Eastern District of Michigan, he'll be sentenced on September 1st and faces up to 20 years in prison.
Ooh, that is crazy. It makes, yeah. Isn't oxycodone one of the top like 10 most distributed quote legal drugs on the market? Yeah, you know, I did air quotes for anyone listening, like legal drug.
Legal with a prescription.
Yeah, you know what
right?
I mean. Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like people can just get their hands on it, right? But quote the
just like, you know, the fentanyl going around. You know, there's medical grade and there's not so medical grade.
So your quote like legal fentanyl in air quotes, everyone. It's hard to for anyone listening. Anytime you hear my voice kind of inclinate, it's because I'm doing air quotes. So if not, I'm being very sarcastic. My humor is not as dry as some other people. I can't be that. Liz would know this. She's known me long enough.
Yes.
She understands my humor.
Yep, long enough, man.
All right. So, Liz, why are you going to 20 years in jail? Why are you? Is this your last episode? Oh, no, you have till September. We have till September.
Nasruddin worked as a pharmacy technician in hospitals in Metro Detroit, the district attorney's office said, between 2019 and 2020. I feel sus. Nasruddin and his co-conspirator submitted that what prosecutors said was false and fraudulent claims for payment towards prescription drugs that were not ordered by a doctor and not distributed to a patient. Boyd's prescriptions were used to hide the activity, during which a patient never saw the listed doctor and the medication was not prescribed. The scheme resulted in over $5.6 million in losses to Medicare, Medicaid, and Blue Cross Blue Shield, a Michigan prosecutor said. Additionally, from 2019 through 2022, Nasruddin provided unlawful prescriptions of oxycodone to drug traffickers in exchange for cash, without regard to whether the prescriptions were actually prescribed by a physician or dispersed in good faith. prosecutor said, "Damn,
That's about right. Yeah, that's kind of what you would guess with this situation.
I that wait.
How many pills would that be? $5 million.
Dude,
Because,
I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of bottles of gone.
because
Gone.
like, because if you're
And I probably it wasn't just straight Oxy 5, probably some 10s, maybe some 20s in there.
because they did it within what the time frame?
About 3 years.
So 3 years.
Yeah, but he did it up till 2022. So from 2019 to about 3 years.
That seems he was ballsy then, because you would know, you would clock that, right? You would immediately like, wait, something. Oh, you would red flag that, right? If that much.
Oh, we okay, but there's again, each state monitors it differently.
Okay.
And if they're not monitoring, or they don't have a higher, because Oregon is one of the top, like, strictest things of things how point A to point B base and to point Z. Basically, all of those points have to be met to kind of nothing. If they're missing something, flagged. Something missing that, flagged. Something sketchy, flagged. I mean,
so there's no point of failure in the state of Oregon.
Yeah,
there's
in
no
the state of Oregon. You have a lot of like.
There's a lot of point of failures to happen for anything to.
Yeah.
For it to be okay.
Yeah.
To get flagged.
Exactly.
Because
but if somebody doesn't realize it, and I'm surprised doctors didn't catch on quicker, because if their DEA number is used, that will like start saying, "Oh, this is kind of weird."
Exactly, right.
Flags for this.
So that's what I'm saying. That's
and FDA actually watches it too, so the DEA will watch that too. So they say, "Hey, doc, why are you prescribing
X, Y, and Z
100 oxycodone to this patient? I don't know that patient. Who got a hold of your number? I don't know." Pharmacy technicians have access to that day in and day out, besides nurses and everybody else involved. But damn.
Yeah, because you could imagine, because there had to be a smarter way to do it for a longer term, unless they thought they could get away with the big payout really quick. Because during this time it was the pandemic, right? So you think they just got ballsy because of the shutdown? Because the shutdown was
2019. He started this, so he might have. It probably was a 1 or 2 here and there.
And then he ramped it up.
I think once he ramped it up, yeah.
During the pandemic.
He said, yeah. And
probably
2020, 2022, he was selling it to drug dealers. Like,
yeah,
crazy.
because that's really ballsy for what you said it would be hundreds of bottles, right? Yeah.
Yes.
For 100. Such a slow
100. I don't know why nobody noticed it. I mean, like, that's odd.
Well,
because only so many the pharmacies have an allotment. I don't know how it is in Michigan, but they have an allotment. You can only purchase so much. If you go over it, done.
Oh, you're right. So like they can't order a pallet worth of like any single pill and like, well, yeah, we're using this pallet of pills. We're gonna distribute it properly. So that makes sense. That makes sense because it's, yeah, like I said, it's like you would know a little bit more in this field of how things are allocated, but as you said, different states have different ways they are monitoring this stuff. But sounds like there's also a federal way for it to monitor stuff too, by having like quote a doctor's ID, right? ID or a marker. But yeah, it took a while, right? When did they get caught?
Looks like 2022, I'm assuming.
So they've just been in proceedings, right? As we all know, anything takes forever in the law for things to go, because it's just happening right now, and they'll be facing up to 20 years. Probably they'll probably get what, like 10?
Federal prison. They're just not going to regular good old prison.
No, they're getting the fancy one. The fancy one. So.
That's absolutely crazy. That's bonkers. What did you do with all this money? I gotta curious what he did with all this fucking money. $5.6 million worth of.
If he was
Yeah.
smart, he would hide it away for when he gets released. That's what I would do. That much money? Like, how would you?
Allegedly, if you ever win that kind of stuff.
Because you gotta think about it, because these are movies, right? This would, like, he got away with it. You can't put it in bank accounts. Like, it's all dirty money.
No, offshore account.
Like, it's probably all dirty money. They have to be smart. They quote have to be smart. It doesn't sound like this guy was smart enough to be a criminal, smart enough to be a pharmacy tech, but not smart enough to be a criminal. Or he thought he was for a couple years until he got caught. Because they probably was,
Right?
because probably they probably did flag a couple times, but they needed proper evidence to finally catch him, right? Probably.
Yeah, and then, again, a lot of it, and there's cameras now with a lot of pharmacies. I don't know when they all started rolling out, all of them. And who knows? He maybe not have been in major chains, so who knows?
Maybe that's why they're making pharmacy robots now.
Yeah, small cameras, the whole 9 yards.
So it is
They're
wild.
crazy. They're
It's
already
wild.
crazy.
It is wild. It's like,
Yeah.
has this been going through your medical circles, your pharmacy tech circles at all?
No, that is surprising. No.
Well, now you have a new story to tell people, because sheesh.
Right?
Now you know how, like, you gotta be smarter if you're gonna try to get away with 5.4 or 5.6. Let me I'm wrong. Like, so, all right. Any other thoughts on this one? Because this one's a little bit crazy. All right.
No, that was just blew my mind. That was crazy how he got away with that much for that long.
True. All right, then. We're going to jump into another story, our final story of the night, a little bit. And we're going to be talking about another one of these predator catcher series. Do you remember what happened last time when we talked about this? I think it was in the last episode. But this time, they actually did a proper job, Liz. They actually did a proper job. So
Scandalous.
So here, I'm gonna don't read the article yet. We'll see the video. We have a video, and we'll read more of what happened in this. All right, give me 1 second, and I'll share the screen with Liz. Testing 1, 2. Liz, can you hear me? Okay. All right. So this is another one where they caught a guy named Mason Hall, and they were doing one of these predator series, as you know. Like I mentioned their last episode, there are actually some people who actually do a pretty proper job in doing these things. And they caught this look maxer influencer. Do you remember what look maxing is, Liz? Do you remember your internet knowledge?
What is it again? Repeat it.
Look maxing.
Yeah.
We talked about this, Liz.
No.
We might have to re-educate Liz in this useless information of look maxing and all these maxings, because she is not internet maxing right now, guys. She needs to get a little bit more brain rotted to fit into this world. But
nope.
Yep. Don't worry, guys. We'll turn her. We'll turn her. But before we continue, let's see what happened here with Mason Hall.
Now, Mason, no more child porn, right? Last time? Okay. Never gonna do that again.
No, sir.
We learned our lesson? My man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for taking accountability.
And we did download those videos, right? We did download those videos, but we deleted them? Okay, fine. And you admitted everything to police? Okay. And all the allegations were true, right?
Not all, but some, yes.
Okay, well, the child porn stuff was true, right? Okay. I respect the hell out of that man. Y'all, genuinely, he took responsibility for it. He wants a life after this. He's gonna do better, right?
Yes, sir.
He gave his life to Christ. He admitted to it. Y'all. Oh. Had this little reverse card. Because I had put in the Discord that you were innocent, but you weren't.
So, did you hear what happened, Liz?
I didn't hear all of it. No.
So he admitted that, or Mason, for the most part, pseudo admitted to downloaded and viewing CP.
Bueno. Really?
And as you can tell down in the stats, he has about 1/3 subscribers, 33,401 Instagram subscribers. So he's very popular. And he's one of these like young influencers that are making a big come up for just being a very like handsome bravado kind of guy, you know. So let's see what this article has to say while I let this play in the background. Hopefully it repeats. All right, I'll start it.
Okay, I had it. I just pulled it up. So.
Okay. So Mason Hall, a Florida-based looks-maxing influencer, has been arrested on child pornography charges. On May 6th, the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office carried out the arrest warrant and went which Hall with 15 counts of possession of child sexual abuse materials. Oof. According to the probable cause affidavit obtained by People on May 1st, Hall's ex-girlfriend provided the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office deputies with photos of Hall's chat messages on app Telegram, where he allegedly discussed payments for the CP. Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts, Liz? What are your thoughts right now before we continue?
Dude, that has to be messed up for the ex-girlfriend, and then, wow, there's something wrong with this guy. He needs some help, some serious help.
It is. I don't even know how to describe it. Like we. This is a very sad story because there's sadly children involved, right? Because that content had to be made somehow, right? So as much as we would like to make fun of Mason here, there are actual victims in the background, right? That we would like to. And the thing is, like, I'm glad he was caught, right? It's individuals like this who have such a large following that if things don't get, if they don't get like found out, it's just gonna sit in the background, and you never know. It just never know what could happen, right? It could escalate to actual victims like in his vicinities, right? That's a scary thing, because with such a huge follower base, you just have so much access, right? And there's been things, not just children. There's been like cases where men and women with higher following count have touted their power dynamics over other influencers and other content creators. And it's one of those things where you just never know. Right now, in this era right now, like, it's been a thing, but right now it's an interesting time online, because as much as I joke about Liz's like lack of knowledge of the internet, she has it way more lax as far as what's happening in the world online than she would want to know. Because if she had to deal with what she has to deal with in her life and what's happening online, you would just want to like not get up from bed. Like
just call him it and just hopefully die.
That's how bad it can get. That's why I quote try to quote educate Liz on some of the stuff that's happening, because like this is, Liz would never heard of this Mason Hall before, even though he is one of the up and coming looks maxing. Because here's the thing, Liz, looks maxing is the current trend. that is happening online.
is?
Maxing is the terminology where it's a new vocabulary now. Maxing is you can be to the peak of whatever you're doing. Looks maxing is being the peak of physical appearance. So looks maxing is making yourself look as beautiful, as handsome as possible for no regards without any regards. Whatever it takes to look, peak beauty, basically. So if you have to, because people are like, to the extent where some people are like hitting themselves with small hammers to give themselves little broken cheeks so it repairs themselves, to give them that, for men, to give them that like perfect jawline, or just some people are taking drugs to give them that little skinny, those skinny, that it's looks maxing is like the thing is, there's some positive things in this aspect. The idea of like doing better for yourself, like going to the gym, exercising, doing things to make yourself look and feel better. I'm not against that. It's just the level of extent some people go to get that, because we do live in a very vain world, and we're not gonna lie, beautiful people get a lot of attention. We're not gonna lie about that. That is the God honest truth. Like if you look good, you have some better advantages than others. If you have beauty, if you have money, if you have fame or / notoriety, if you have any of those three, you can do a lot. And if you have a combination of those three or all three, you can get really far. And we've seen it time and time again. And and the thing is, people are there's one huge looks maxing creator who kind of was like currently the peak of the look maxing like face right now of this era. His name's Clavicular. He's someone I wanted to talk about, but we would have to do a whole episode for you to know, because he's gone through a lot in this field, where to the point where there's conspiracies that he's being funded to be a kind of this icon in this online space. And because he's gotten so many, what's the word, so many ins with different people that you would never be surprised how he got them. So yeah, here it's a next, this is the new era right now, Liz, that we're living in. It's this maxing era where you have to be doing the peak of something. So
that's a lot to the people who have time. I don't have time.
well,
I wish I had time to max and I get paid to do that.
Well, Liz, the thing is that's what people like. We joked about this outside this podcast of how many people are now trying to become like the day and age now. Kids want to be, quote, content creators, influencers. This guy's only 18. What do you think his dream was growing up?
I don't know. 18. Oh, let's see. That would have been what, 20? When was he born? But no, that sucks. There's gotta be some. I have no idea. I have no idea what he wanted to be when he grew up, but obviously it involves some CP in the background.
Well, that's a sad way to grow up. Yeah, a lot of these people are looking up to these people, the guys who are making the money, becoming these influencers, getting brand deals, because that's what it is now. It's just like you see all these like Instagram content creators, these TikTokers, these YouTuber isn't a big thing anymore. The streamers, it's just these content creators / influencers now that are now the eyes that the kids are watching, because that's all they're watching online, right? It's the clips, the
Mhm.
TikToks, and they see them flaunting their new clothes, their new homes, their new product, or going on a trip here and there, and they're like, I want that too. And what do I need to do to do that too? Then they emulate that, and you see these. Now it's the Mac scene, right? Because that it's a whole. So yeah, it's a. So they look up to people like these guys because they are the guys. We'll just talk from the male perspective. They say these guys who are either a little younger or about the same age as them, like, I want to be in the same situation he is. Maybe not right now, but like
Right.
like he's getting girls, he's getting money, he is living the life. And while quote I'm having to work 2 jobs, barely, like, don't get to meet anyone, like, I want, and we're almost the same age. Why don't I have that? What do I need to do? So yeah, it is. Now you can see why these guys are looked up to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me turn, let's continue this article, but give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn this section off. Okay, let me see here. The ex-girlfriend. Okay, let me see. The ex-girlfriend who has been in a romantic relationship with Hall for roughly 8 months, told deputies that she had suspected that he had been cheating on her, and she had searched through his phone while he was sleeping, where she discovered the messages. Ooh. After deputies interviewed the ex-girlfriend, they went to Hall's residence, where he allegedly told police there was at least 2 separate occasions in which he spent money to provided with links to access the CP. The affidavit said. Oof. You want to read the next part?
Yes, the deputies seized Hall's phone and the next day obtained a search warrant for his phone, where they allegedly found 15 CP videos per the affidavit. On May 6th, members of the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office Tactical Unit executed an arrest warrant, taking him into custody after discovering him in the parking lot of his residence. The Sheriff's Office release said he was arraigned later that day, and according to online jail records reviewed by People, Hall remains in custody. He's next suspected in court on June 5th.
So let's see
Yeah.
here. What to finish off? So the attorney just declined any comment. Yeah, that makes sense. Hall maintains a following of 400,000 across Instagram, TikTok, where he is known for as a member of the looks maxing community, a controversial sect of the internet populated by young men who strive to maximize their attractiveness in often extreme ways. And yeah, kind of what I explained. So yeah, I'm glad they caught him, because yeah, like, we don't need figures like this in the space, right? It's and mostly influencing other people like that. Like, it's one of those times where these, like, quote, the predator hunters actually do a good job, right? It's like, this is what we want. We want them to do the job, catch the guy admitting it, and then work with the cops and get them off the streets. That's what we want.
Okay, is it really off the streets though? It gets slapped with a couple misdemeanor charges, and that's branded as a pedo. So
Well, yeah. So yeah, he'll be.
it's not extreme. It's not. It's you maybe 1 to 2 years in jail, unlike the guy who spent $5.6 million in drugs or got that much or whatever. It's gonna see up to 20 years in federal prison. So
Wait, doesn't he have in the United States? Doesn't he have to be considered a
registered sex offender.
Yeah. So I think that's a curse.
He'll get that title of that. But
and I remember you and me read that it takes a lot to get that off your record, to get that expunged. Like, it's possible, but it takes a lot of work. So I think, hopefully, well, he said 15 counts. So
with that, I don't think you can get that expunged. I don't think that's one of those ones. It was on your phone, buddy.
Yeah. So I'm glad how he's off at least he's been caught, and go from there. Maybe I should be in this looks maxing community, Liz. Maybe get the youth better now.
Why not?
Damn,
not?
took Liz a little bit to hype me up there. Like she thought about it. She like maybe not. You don't have the looks. I'm like, ouch, Liz, that hurt a lot. It took her
I didn't
so
say
long.
it. You said it. You said it, buddy. Not
No,
me.
we all know what she was thinking. She took too long to answer. And I was
think about it. Consider it. Well, you'd be a great role model.
yeah. I just got to start breaking my jaw a little bit. Apparently, fit into this community.
In that gym 5 times a day.
5 times a day. Oh my fucking god! I'm dragging you along now. I'm dragging Liz along. But yeah, it is. I'm glad he's caught. Because that's one less influencer out there with, and this it's gonna keep happening. We're always gonna find these kinds of creeps online. The thing is, these types of people are always around. It's just now, quote, a little easier. It's a dual sword. Right? It's easier for victim to be coerced and because of how online we've read about this. We talked about this in other episodes. And there's still always stories that are brought up, but we tend to avoid talking about them constantly because we don't want to be that type of thing.
Depressing.
Yeah, it's too depressing. It's only when they're not only when they're weird, but it's more when there's an actual thing we can specifically talk about in these types of situations. Like the only reason we're talking about this is because this goober like admitted to a live stream. Like normally a quote sensible person would just say like, I want to speak to my lawyer after anything, but it's just, I'm glad he got caught. I'm glad he was admitting. Now he has to just deal with it and let the courts deal with him. So that's one less troubled person off the street. Any final thoughts, Liz, for you?
Nope, I'm glad he's caught. I hope he gets some help too. He needs obviously some help. So
yeah, like I said, he's a very young man, 18. That is, I don't know how to explain it. It's just so like that's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot. And not even depending what he was looking at, it's just disgusting. And to whatever he needed, why? Like the other thing, what it grosses me out is these are the things he was quote purchasing, because it's not alleged because they found it. What he was purchasing was the stuff that gets him off. That's what's so disgusting. Like, why can't with the vast collection on the internet of free pornography, free legal pornography, why do people have to do this, right?
absolutely.
And
what gets why is it getting their kicks off? Getting that great spot. It's something here mentally, and
exactly
something that needs to change.
And on top of that, he had a girlfriend, and that's what these people look up to, is like he's living his life. He has potentially quote a beautiful partner, right? And like he's living quote the dream, and this is what gets him off, and that's what basically ended his career in life, basically.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like barely started at 18.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm kind of happy that the girlfriend had some sus feelings. It could have been years down the road before we found this information out. I mean,
true.
I think
Actually,
you're cheating on me. Bye. Not even look through the phone.
so we actually, depending on what stories are, we might do a little diving into the look maxing community for our head look maxer list, so you can kind of see what peak look maxing would be, kind of, because of he's clavicular has been a character like the main character of all this. And there's a few video essays that I feel are reasonable enough that to kind of summarize the last, I want to say he's been around for maybe a year, like 12, maybe 15 months. That's how big he got that fast. He just
Wow.
and he's popped off. Yeah, he's big. So but I think that might be
And
we can
did
do
that all the way. And he threw it all away.
no, well, he's still around actually.
Well, I
Actually,
mean, yes, he had his mental.
Well,
This is.
we'll see. Well, we can talk more about him when you see kind of his rise, what happened, because there's some recently the last month. Ooh, you would think his career would be over in this past month, but no, he's still going strong. Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll talk about it next week. Look forward to that. For Liz, like I said, we're gonna brain rot Liz on this internet space, but it will give her an idea of what the internet space. It feels like this is what the internet space Liz is gonna feel like for the next I want to say 6 to 9 months more. This kind of trend, this maxing trend. So get an idea of what the pinnacle right now is, because like I said, the new verbiage is maxing right now. So that you got to get used to it. That is the new.
No, I don't wanna.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to stay
I'll
up
be
to.
maxing myself out in the sun.
Liz is gonna be sun maxing, guys. Just sprawled out like who we saw on our vacation. Just sprawled out in the sun maxing. Like
Yep.
the starfish and. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Any final thoughts on this situation or any of this situation we just talked about?
I'm glad they got a illegal drug dealer off the street, a CP person, and I feel bad for those peaches, man. That's a lot of peaches. Fuck.
Yep, the people we feel sorry for, the peach farmers, the people we're glad they caught. Evil, like a dumb pharmacy tech and a young influencer with some dark thoughts. So I'm glad, some these are all the types of stories that we talked about. So everyone, let us know your thoughts of any of these things we talked about this week down in the comments. If you're on YouTube or in Spotify, Spotify now has comments too, so you can leave those things there. And let us know any other random stories you might want us to talk about as well, because yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask. There's always something happening on the internet. We can't always talk about it a lot. We only have so much time in our lives, and we can only do so much. But we appreciate your time, and like Liz says, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe if you're on YouTube, or subscribe on Spotify or any podcasting platform. And Liz, thank you again for joining me today.
And don't forget to tell a friend. Please tell somebody. Who needs it?
Exactly. So until next time, see ya.
Bye.